This is a story that you just highlighted in the headlines. It's on the front of the Times. In fact, many of the papers obviously covering this. That Rishi Sunak's wife will now pay UK taxes to save his career. I think this is going to be too late. I think the damage is done. I think that, the reputational damage is done. I think that it doesn't matter now what the Sunaks do. This is not going to work in order to repair Rishi Sunak's
No, I mean,
reputation.
if they thought of it years ago...
Well, they should have done.
Shouldn't they?
Why didn't they?
I know.
What on earth were they thinking?
Standing for major political office, and very clearly his ambitions...
His ambitions are way higher, yeah.
Then why didn't somebody say to them, why didn't they even think themselves, what's the optics on this, you know?
Yes. It's the optics of this, and she's not broken any law.
No.
She's not, but she chose. You have to tick a box on a form to say I am non-domiciled for purposes of tax. I mean, there's no ambiguity to that choice. So the choice was made by his wife, and I'm afraid that he keeps saying, well, what my wife does doesn't reflect on me. Of course it does.
It does.
Absolutely, it does.
Well, the law when you get married. Everything is shared, isn't it? So, but I mean,
What's the I make of it, Dawn?
Well, the I is sort of basically saying, he's fighting for his political survival, and you have to now. The story just develops every single day, and every paper is covering it. You have to question whether he can survive this. I mean, it's very interesting that the Tories aren't closing ranks around him like they did with Boris Johnson and Partygate.
Well, do you not think that they're the ones that have pushed this story?
Well, because someone is out to get him. There are knives in his back, aren't they? And it's not the Labour Party. I think it's coming from within the Tory party.
It may even have come from number 10.
Well, absolutely.
Well, no,
because
they deny that, though.
They deny it, of course.
What they would do, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they would do, wouldn't they? But it may. I'm not suggesting that it has. I'm just asking the question.
But you have
it
to think back to Partygate, Petrie. I mean, how can we forget it? We're talking about it still. But that picture of the garden party taken suspiciously from a room in number 11.
Number 11.
I'm not suggesting, obviously, Rishi had anything to do with it, but. Who lives at number 11?
I just find it fascinating that there's something about this that is it a question of if you absolutely have got so much money, you simply don't get what ordinary people think.
Yes. But this whole story, though, as Petrie was saying just now, it's like, it's either stupidity or arrogance. Because how did you not see this coming down the line?
I mean, anybody advising them would have said, look, mate,
come clean, especially the
your wife's richer than the Queen. Let's make sure it's clean money.
Totally kosher, as it were. Yeah.
But the latest development overnight with this one, as the eye's gone into as well, is the green card issue. It's been revealed that he's held a green card up until October 2021. And he was just a Chancellor since 2020.
Why does that matter? I don't understand why that matters.
It's sort of like, are you hedging your bets? I mean, it's like, because it meant he could live in America, registered to pay tax in America as well. It's all a bit like, well, why did... I mean, even Boris Johnson didn't know about this. Boris Johnson's been surprised.
I mean, Boris Johnson could live in America, couldn't he? He could be president. Because he's half American.
Oh, there's a thought.
Oh, crikey.
He was born in America, wasn't he?
But if Rishi Sunak became Prime Minister, we would have a Prime Minister who's hedging his bets, as you say, has had a green card until recently.
Yeah, 2021.
And a wife who's not even resident in this country. No. They'd be the lead. They'd be the first.
Well, this is the thing. So, I mean, how can he now?
Well, I tell you what really annoys me about this. Do you remember the vicious indignation when it was revealed that Gary Barlow and Jimmy Carr were using perfectly legal vehicles?
Yes.
Actually, probably their accountants did it without particularly their knowledge, and they were vilified by this government. They were torn to shreds. They were embarrassed. They were cancelled. All of those things happened to them. And yet, Rishi Sunak is saying, but leave my wife alone.
That was under David Cameron, wasn't it?
It doesn't matter. Governments are having a go at people for legally avoiding tax. And yes, this is exactly what she's doing, legally.
Let us know what you think. A lot of people yesterday supported her.
Yeah, I know. It would be very, very different, though, wouldn't it, if she had volunteered to do this, what she's just done. She's going to pay, I think, sort of tax twice.
Well, that's, I mean...
On her international... She's
going forward.
I'm paying UK tax on UK earnings, and I pay international tax on international earnings, and that's completely legal. What she's going to do now is pay UK tax on those international earnings as well.
Will she still have to pay international tax?
I don't know.
Well, this is the situation,
But-
because she is an Indian citizen. She was paying her taxes in India. So does that mean she's now going to stop doing that, therefore depriving the Indian tax system?
Well,
Have they confirmed that she was paying her taxes in India?
Yes,
they have now.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
So, I mean, it was all above board.
No,
except
because there
that-
was questions over the Cayman Islands.
well...
Yes, there are those.
Well, that's the whole green card link, isn't it? It's like, because, the American, Caribbean islands are tax havens, and interesting. But
Wouldn't you do it, Dawn? Wouldn't you do it if there was a legal tax loophole? Wouldn't you use it?
What's an interesting question?
You're not telling me your accountant doesn't go through your stuff in fine detail.
We were discussing our accountants
My
before we came in.
accountant is vicious.
You've got a Rottweiler.
Yeah,
And,
won't let me get away with the coffee,
No.
which I'm glad.
Yeah.
Because it keeps everything clean
not that
and tidy.
you tried to get away with that.
No, but if I say,
Coffee,
look, I had a
obviously.
coffee at 10 o'clock because I was on my way to a meeting, he'd say, well, I'm sorry, you would have had that coffee anyway.
Yeah.
You're not having it because you're on the way
Not
to the meeting.
charging it against work. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
But I'd have been at home, I say.
I don't drink coffee.
No, but you come from the newspaper. You never ask questions
No.
about that.
No.
Look, before we run out of time...
Oh, gosh.
Let's have a look. Petrie, can we have a look at the Telegraph? We're going to be talking about this in a minute as well, but Will Smith, because it's a big talking point. I was with a couple of people last night who said, they're glad he kept his Oscar, but they're very glad he's been banned for a decade.
Yeah, I think that this banning from the Oscar parties, basically, because he's already stepped down from the Academy, hadn't he? So
He could still go to the ceremony, though.
yeah, but he's not. This is not going to happen for him now. But I think it's a bigger deal than this. I think his brand is now toxic.
Yeah.
And I look at him differently. I used to love
Yeah,
Will
I'm
Smith. I
exactly the
loved his
same.
movies. Watched probably all of them. And I feel a bit about him now. Genuinely, I do. But I also think, and I was saying this to Dawn earlier, that the punditry that he would have to do on a new film, none of them will be talking about the film.
No.
So he's actually a busted flush, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's of no use.
The first question you're going to ask is, tell us about the slap.
Tell us about
Come
the
on,
slap.
what happened?
Yeah.
What
Why did you do it? How did you feel?
And for that
the
very
film
reason,
will be
he
forgotten.
rendered himself unemployable.
Pretty
what
much
director
so.
is really going to want to touch somebody who won't be able to do interviews?
Exactly.
He won't be the best ambassador for the movie
No.
because that's what people will think of.
And especially anything to do with children or anything like that. He's just not. I think he's.
There is a school of thought that said, well, he was defending his wife. Not everybody feels that
that's
against
not.
him. I think there is.
There isn't.
It was a very innocuous comment from Chris.
I think it was innocuous, and he was laughing at it before he caught his wife's eye.
She gave him that look that women give their other halves, and it's like.
But then there's that other video that's emerged of her laughing as he slapped Chris Rock.
Yeah,
which I think
that's a bit gamey.
Very off.
And it's the fact that he effed and blinded as
well.
Yelled it, which was almost worse than the slap itself.
It was, yeah, because there was sheer anger in that, wasn't there? I mean, the slap, a lot of people going, well, that's a bit.
If that had been in the street, it was assault. It was assault.
It was.
But Chris didn't want to press charges, did he? So he didn't want to complain.
Not yet.
Not yet. He's
considering
reflecting
his
on
options.
It.
Gosh.
He's reflecting.
I can imagine
They're all
they are.
I think he did brilliantly to keep going because
he
I
was
would have burst
amazing.
into tears and run off the stage.
Yeah.
A horrible thing to have to, and then he had to pull himself back together.
Yeah.
Oh, he did really
Incredible.
well.
Yeah,
He did really
incredible.
well.
But when you say about, sort of like, he's going to be cancelled in Hollywood, they all standed and gave him a standing ovation with applause when he was announced as the winner of the Oscar.
He's toxic now.
The
I don't think that's
hypocrisy.
Well, but then in that circumstance, what would you? I mean, I asked this question to someone. They said, "Well, what would you do if you're there?" I mean, you're just going to.
Well, if you felt that strongly about it, you go, hold on, it's just slap someone.
You're going to stand up and applaud, aren't you? I mean, it's.
But this is showbiz, and everybody wants.
But they may
Die.
also have thought it was a joke at the time, or they may have not realised that it was. Not everybody saw it, perhaps, or saw it the way it was.
Don't know. Just a very quick look at the Cornwall space race, Dawn.
Oh,
in the
thanks,
Star.
Stephen. Yes, I've read this story very thoroughly. I understand every word of it. Not. OK, any case, this is the Cornish are taking to space to catch... It's not just the Cornish, it's the UK. A satellite that will track pirate ships. We're not talking Johnny Depp-type pirates here. Track ships to combat terrorism, smuggling and piracy to be blasted into orbit from the West Country. It's a modified Boeing 747-400, will take off from Cornwall Airport in Newquay, because it's one of the few airports that can do this sort of thing, evidently, and they are going to be tracking shipping from space to keep our seas safe.
Oh.
Ooh, my heart is.
Excuse me, I'm
it may
half
be very
Cornish.
important.
Are you?
Yeah.
It is very important.
My father was Cornish.
Was he?
Can you speak it?
No.
But my auntie won awards for her Cornish pasties.
Oh, there you go.
And she was mayor of Truro.
Oh,
There you go.
that's
There's
wonderful.
a Cornish, you know.
Great Cornish link.
If you
Cornish.
are the current mayor of Truro,
Yes.
please get in touch.
And do you make Cornish pasties?
Oh, Auntie Jen made the best Cornish pasties. She won awards.
There was a big debate about whether Cornish pasty should have its crust upwards or lying on its side, wasn't there?
What's that?
One's a Cornish pasty, one's something else.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought it had to be on the top.
Well, the pastry was only ever to protect it used to be so solid that they'd throw it down the mines for the miners, and they would break open the sort of concrete shell and eat the insides. It was you were never meant to actually eat the.
So it's like an original. It was like a natural Tupperware thing then.
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
Could also eat it. Yeah.
Who knew?
It would bounce.
But there is a difference, and I can't remember what it is, between a pasty that's got the crust along the top or that's lying flat and it's around there.
If you know, GBviews at gbnews.uk.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.